Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and um, shout out to the commenter that said my last video was clickbait. I thought that was pretty funny. I didn't really even think about it at the time that I was posting it, but I could see how that video, that thumbnail could be clickbait. So for sure, yeah, definitely, I caught that, and I actually liked that comment because. Just the way that viewer kind of described it as a masterclass in clickbait was hilarious. Um, a couple other things before I talk about this video too is that I had mentioned in a couple videos ago that I was going to be selling some games out of my collection, and I actually am. It's just that it's not at the level that I did it back in like 2022 and 2023. I have videos on my channel, if you want to go back, where I literally packed my trunk full of video games. I mean, like boxes of video games, and drove into the city and literally sold thousands of dollars worth of video games. Like, I've done this multiple times. But that was during a time when I had recently lost a family member, so a family member had passed away. Actually, a few family members had passed away, and at the time, I was really considering giving up video game collecting completely. So when I had sold off like 70% of my PS2 collection and like 80% of my Switch collection, like I was on my way out the door. And a lot of the subscribers at that time, they had seen those videos. They were watching those videos. And a lot of them really kind of encouraged me not to give up. They were like, why Y2K? Like, don't sell your collection. Like, dude, you're going to regret it. Like, we know you're going through some stuff right now, but don't sell the collection. Like, hang on to it. And this was probably the beginning of 2024. No, was it? It was either the beginning of 2023 or 2024. I can't remember. You can go back and watch the videos, but um, yeah, a lot of people encouraged me not to sell my entire collection, and I was definitely about to do it. But I listened to a lot of the subscribers. I didn't sell, and what I did instead was I just kind of focused more on retro. So I spent like majority of 2024 solely looking for retro games. And 2025 was supposed to be about going back to the Switch, but I just have a hard time collecting for the Switch right now, just because I know that it's Switch games are going to be around. Like, they're not going anywhere. They're so new, they're so recent, they're so modern that, like, I know that I have a much longer runway to collect the Switch games that I want. And while yes, there are some that skyrocket in price, there are a few. Like, some of these Switch games are like shooting up in price. For in large part, a lot of them are not shooting up in price, or they're not shooting up in price as much as they were before. So I personally feel like I have more of a runway to pick up the Switch games that I want. I feel like when it comes to retro games, not only am I fighting against resellers, price inflation, um, I'm also competing against the fact that less and less of these items are available. You know what I mean? There's such a finite amount of some of these games that a big part of me feels like I want to collect them now. So, what happens for me, or what's been happening with me in terms of selling the games, is, trust me, I'm selling them. I'm selling them, and I'm actually trading and selling a lot of them away. Like, when you see me pick up games like Popful Mail and Lunar 2 and Rule of Rose and every Silent Hill game on the PlayStation 2, I'm not going out and buying those games. I'm trading a bunch of games away. Like, to get Silent Hill 3, I had to trade away like 12 games. To get Popful Mail, I had to trade away like 8 to 10 games. So that's one of the ways that I am kind of weeding out and getting rid of the collection. I'm not losing the value, so to speak, because I'm able to do value for value trades, which is great. So I'm able to reduce the number of games in the collection, but I'm at the same time able to add really good titles into the collection too. So I'm low key selling games. I'm also trading some games away, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of history on that. Now, when it comes to like the grails, which is why I have some of the grails that I have in my collection, some of them are here. Obviously, you see the complete in box Demon Crest. Um, you see the Metal Warriors, which is probably my most rare, authentic Super Nintendo game. I do have a reproduction copy of Hagane. I am in search of a legit copy of Hagane, and I'd be willing to trade almost half my collection away for a complete in box copy of Hagane. So if anyone has a copy, if anyone knows of someone who has a copy, let me know. I'm willing to give up a lot of games for Hagane. But all that being said, you also see Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Obviously, Silent Hill Shattered Memories is a big one. Burning Rangers, for those who don't know, super uncommon, not one you see every day. Um, and then obviously the Punisher, which I think is more familiar because this was part of the Capcom Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And a lot of these games are games that I really have picked up, like I said, mostly through trade. I remember I traded away like almost 100 games for this at a mom and pop shop. Fire Emblem was trade. Metal Warriors. I think Metal Warriors, I might have sold a bunch of games and used the money to purchase this. And I did the same thing with Burning Rangers because there was no one around me that had either of these two games. Shattered Memories was definitely a trade. I traded a bunch of games away for that. But I don't think that people are really going after grails like that anymore. To be quite honest with you, except for collectors, right? And it's specific collectors. Like it's a certain type of collector because no one is willing to pay $4, $5, $6, $7, $800 for one game. Like no one's really trying to do that in 2025. And I think one of the biggest ways that a lot of people are trying to kind of acquire and build on some of these like more rare titles, I think is either through trade or at a gaming convention. Most of the grails that I've picked up so far in 2025, if not all, have been through trade or from GameStop. Some of the rarer games that I've gotten from GameStop this year was probably like Felix the Cat on the NES, Metal Storm on the Super Nintendo. Sorry, Metal Storm on the Nintendo rather. Um, I'm trying to think of some other games that I got from GameStop that are probably pretty rare. But I mean, without kind of rack my brain too much, a lot of the more rarer stuff is stuff that I got from GameStop. But like the super heavy grail items, those were all trades. And like I said, I've traded for a lot of these games, and I'm picking them up from resellers that are having a hard time. Whoop, almost dropped the phone there. They're having a hard time really finding someone to pick these games up off them. And I don't think that the clientele is there the way it was before. I don't think people are really rushing to spend, like I said, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on Grail games. And I don't know if it's because people don't care anymore or just people are not interested in paying the money anymore. But Grail items have been one of the ways that I purge my collection. If I want to get rid of 10, 15, 20 games, 50 games, I take out all the games that I want to trade away, or take out all the games that I want to get rid of, and then I go on Facebook Marketplace, or I tap into my network of people that I know that usually have and sell games, and I say, hey, listen, I've got these games that I'm willing to put up for trade. I'm willing to trade all these games for this one game that you have. And then that's how I'm able to kind of trim the collection down while at the same time adding Grail items to the collection. I think it's a win-win for everyone involved because usually the people that I trade with, they feel like they got a good deal. I understand that they need to get value out of the deal, especially if it's a reseller. They want to be able to resell and make their money. But usually for me, a lot of times these are games that I'm able to find below market, usually 30 to 40 to sometimes 50% off. So it's a net positive for the reseller because they get the value they're looking for. It's a net positive for me because my out-of-pocket cost for a lot of what I'm trading wasn't that high to begin with. And it's really just a good way for me to take advantage, especially when a lot of the games that I get are games that I got during like a GameStop promo for buy two, get one, or 420 for 40. That's usually that's how I kind of leverage that. So, but I think at the end of the day, people are not willing to come up out of pocket for grail items. They're great to have if you're a collector. They're great shelf candy, of course, if you're a collector. But I just don't know how practical it is for most collectors. But you guys let me know down in the comments. Do you think people are still willing to pay for grail items? Do you think people still care? Do they want them? Do they not want them? I'm interested to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.